Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Lunch and Learn this week. If you are joining us for the first time, my name is Jeremy Kippen. I am currently one of the sales reps based out of the Las Vegas store. A little bit about me before we get too deep into this. I have been with KukerRanken for just shy of 3 years. Knowledge before this was surveying in the field for 8 years. Below Jennifer is putting in some information on our chat. This is any information for our toll-free number, our website, and she's going to be dropping in a data sheet on what we're going to be talking today about Infinity. So diving right into this, I just want to thank you all again for being here. This has been an exciting one to start working on. What we're talking about today is Leica Infinity, and what that is the post-processing software for the Leica equipment. And when I say Leica equipment, I am talking about GPS, total station, smart levels, even HDS scanning. We can all use Infinity for certain projects. And today we're not going to get complex. I just want to I want to start with the introduction, show you around, show what features it has to offer. We're not going to go into a lot of actually getting down to the nitty-gritty and processing something. But to start off, I am going to start sharing my screen here. Don't mind me as my attention is focused on another screen here for a bit. First screen that we're looking at is Infinity. This is the screen that you are going to be looking at when you first open it up. And so just a little bit of overview first. As you can see here, this is the welcome page. This is the home page. I've got recent projects in here, couple different projects. You can see we've got different shortcuts. We can access our code tables. We'll discuss that in a bit. You can always use your back button. So we can go to our code tables, our coordinate systems, help and support, and about. You'll notice over here on the right, we have news. So on June 28th of 2023, there was a new version of 4.1 that was released. It gives you also, there's blog posts about, this one was three-way surveying software secures a seamless fit into laser scanning. And it's talking about how, laser scanning works with surveying software. So there's a lot of great resources here. And as we go back over to our toolbar on the left-hand side, you'll see we've got a save as template, import, export, and we can close a project. So I can say, the current project I'm in, I'm actually going to close it. Now, under here, we've got the project manager, and we're same as the home screen. This gives us access. We can see when it was created, the name of it. We can sort how we would like to see that. Under tools, you can see our code tables. So what code tables are is a code table is a list of codes. So such as you're out surveying, you've got different codes such as like TBC or back of sidewalk or center line or building. Different codes are for different attributes. We can create a code list of what those items are in Infinity and import them into our job on our data collector. And as you're going along, you can select those codes and you can actually double it with the code and line work, and you can create a 2D view of your entire topo based off these codes and these line works. And so moving on here, targets. It is just, we've got a list of all the standard, if we were using a toll station, we've got a list of all the standard Leica targets that we have available. Antennas are talking about our GPS units and what different GPS antennas are available. If we look under here, under the Leica Absolute, you'll see that there are many different options to pick from. I mean, we've got Leica GS18 right here. So if I was doing a static observation is where you observe a point for more than 2 hours, up to 24, 48 hours if you wish, and then you post-process it, because as it's collecting the satellites, you will be able to post-process it and receive a corrected position. That can be for a later lunch and learn as well. Coordinate systems. Again, a coordinate system is based off of an area that you are working in. We use either UTMs or what we call state plane coordinates. We can localize. I'm not going to do that because it's going to bog my computer down beyond all belief. But we can localize, and we can pick where we need to be. So I can pick all the state plane coordinates for the state of Nevada or Utah or Washington or Oregon. And then we can import those items into our data collector as well. And for those of you who are unsure what I'm talking about the CS20. That is one of our data collectors. I realize I have a screen that kind of blurs a little bit. Then down on georeferenced images. If we had any georeferenced images and we wanted to import them, we could bring them in. Under services, I'm just going to give a quick rundown. As you can see here, we have the ability to link ArcGIS, BIM 360. We can link Leica Exchange. Exchange is a great tool for those who are working large projects in the field and the office, and we can send data back and forth through both the field and the office. That way it eliminates your time running back and forth if some data was missed or some data need to be corrected. It is a quick, seamless cloud-to-cloud drop. You can download everything onto your data collector. You can send data back to the office. It's there within a few seconds. Preferences. This is just going through the preferences of what I wanted how I wanted my whole system to be set up, where everything was going to store. And then under help and support, this has been one of the biggest improvements to Infinity right here, is the amount of data that you have at your fingertips to learn anything that you're running into a problem with, such as how to process BLK 360 data, how to process traverse. You're hung up on something. These tools are right here at your fingertips, and it's going to give you a walkthrough on how to do anything and everything that you may need. I'm going to actually find one here. So we can go ahead and pick this one here, Leica Infinity Imaging Module, how to work with GS18I data.
Warning, you could soon lose your job because of what's happening inside this building you see behind me.
Skip the ad. Right here. This is actually going to actually give us a whole breakdown of what is actually going to work. Save time. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a view of how this all breaks up. We're going to stop that video, and we are going to actually move into looking at a couple different projects within Infinity. So the first project that I want to look at here is this KRSLC training. This was a training that we did some time ago. A few of us sales guys, we got together and went through a couple different features. This is when the GS18I came out. So you see here, I can click on this and I can zoom out. You see I have imagery set right now, and I actually have a base map clicked as well. That way I'm not loading a whole bunch of image data. We can load the full image back up, so we can zoom, clear out, or I can shut the imagery off and just have this little bit here. So as you'll notice, we've got a couple different point numbers, but we have a lot of images. You noticed in the video that we can go in here. You can see these images are around a trash enclosure. You can see more images over here that are around the corner of the building. I'm actually going to get to why this is the way it is. But you'll notice here, there's over here on the left-hand side, you got your library, you got your points, your lines and areas. So we can go ahead and shut off any lines and areas. You'll notice here when I turn this, pay attention to around this group of points right here, it brought its line work back on. Image groups, I can actually shut off the image groups if I just wanted to look at my lines and points, or I can shut off my georeferenced image as well. And if I really wanted to, I could shut my points off. So next, you'll notice we've got our inspector tool over here. We have the ability to see all of our features, so that is going to be all of our points. TPS data, we had no TPS data. GNSS data, this shows our reference station that was used, what point, our antenna, it was a Leica GS18, our antenna heights. We can see if we use the tilt or not, and you can see here we did use tilt. This is all for the point for Infinity, is the ability to go in and visualize how much data you need to verify. If you've got any issues, there was a certain point that you're having an issue with, whatnot, you can go in and look at that. See what time it was started. So this is great for asset tracking, especially on projects. You can move along and, you know, it's great for keeping track of your field crews and knowing what's happening, how long the projects are taking, and you can start gauging and even better bidding on projects later down the road because you're getting real life information. You can see here we were at it for a total of about 20 minutes. From 9:43 up until 10:06, that's all the time we spent out taking topo shots. If we were to use a smart level such as a LS15, it's one of the smart levels, that information would be brought into here. Registration, if we were doing anything with drones or point clouds, that would be under here. Imaging. You can see that we have a couple different point groups. And what I did there, let me go back. Oh. You can see our different point groups: dumpster corral, upper northwest, lower northwest, overall northwest. So if I select this dumpster corral, you can see we got 41 images. And now we can see the overall images, when, what time it was started, completed to when we were finished, and where each point group started. Infrastructure is going to be anything for roadways, tunnels. Then adjustments, if we were to do any sort of adjustments, say we had our total station work and our GPS work and we needed to mesh everything together and adjust it, we could do that here. I'm going to run back over to codes and I'm going to hit actually back to our view. Any questions so far before I start delving into much more?
Nothing yet.
All right.
Dive on in.
So as you see here, we've got our import and export. We can import additional information if we needed to for this job. Say I had more data that I wanted to bring in, we could import that in. However, with this job, it was a one and done. We're not going to import anymore. We were going to export anything. We could go in and select it. We could do a selection of what we wanted to export. Say we needed to get different report. As you can see here, we could generate millions of reports. Let's do just for sake of argument, let's do a point history report. You see how fast that generated it. So overall, we can see here, this gives you the information of project name, date it was created, date it was last accessed, application software. We can go in and put in the information. So say we can put in my name, Jeremy Kippen, contact person, I could put Jennifer Pigeon in, phone number, email. If we had a Skype link or a website, we could put all that information as well. And over here, it gives us what coordinate system we use. So Utah and Salt Lake, it's actually the Utah Central Coordinate System. Residual distributions, we had no residual distributions, our ellipsoidal and our projection type. All this can be seen right in this history report. So as you can see here, we got points 1 through 13, 13 being our reference station. That is the reference base station for the project that was used. Our northings, our eastings, our ellipsoidal height. So that is our elevation. There's our code, our tilt, how many degrees we were tilted out. And then our 3D, 2D, and 1D qualities. Overall, how well was what was the GPS quality of each point? Then up here, you can see that we can save it, we can print it, we can send it we can open it in an internet browser if we needed to. We can edit the point or edit any images. Say we wanted to add in a different logo, we could. But moving on, as you can see here, there's just so many different things that, I don't even have enough time to talk about it. So under the home, we've got our layer managers, which we can pick and choose different points are in different layers, such as how AutoCAD works. Let me bring this over. So if we had a cut fill map, we could turn that off. We could turn that on. Points, say we needed to create a new point. Say we were going to create a point right there. Our point number is 2062. Point roll is going to be user entered. Our code, we can pick a code. We're going to do a center line. So say we needed to search something right here. Say there was something of interest we wanted the survey crew to go back out and look at. We could do that. I can type in here, search, that way when they're looking at that point, they see that it's something to search for. As you can see, we've got a latitude and longitude, a northing and an easting, and an elevation of what that is. We can go ahead and hit create. Now we've got a point there. Let's move on a little bit. Under processing, we can process a point that, some of those options are available on the home screen. We can access them in another position as well. GNSS Manager, this is for post-processing any sort of GPS information. Our surfaces, if we wanted to build a surface within Infinity, say we'd gone and done a topo and we wanted to analyze it before we put it into AutoCAD, we could take that. You can see we can get a cut fill map. If we had a design from AutoCAD, we could take that in, drop the design in, we'd take our topo, and we could create a cut fill map very quickly, very easily, and see what areas we need to fill. If we need to take the cut from one side to fill from the other side, that can all be analyzed within a matter of probably 15, 20 minutes if you know what you're doing. Granted, point clouds. Say part of this project was topoed with a drone. The other part was done with scan data. We can come in and create point clouds for the entire project and view and mesh that all in with our other data as well. Imaging. We can go ahead here. You can see we can add new. So if we wanted to add a new point group, we could, but we're not going to. We're going to add, let's actually click on new point. We're going to go to dumpster corral. Now, what is actually going to happen? It is picking two of the best images, and say we want to pick this corner right here. We can zoom in. Let's remove this point. We're actually going to put it right there. We're going to call it 2063. No code. We're going to call it a building corner. Enclosure, and we're going to create it. So now you can see we created a point there. We want to move along. Say we wanted to grab one more point, or this time we're wanting to get the corner of this. Transformer. We've got a value there. Over here on our prospector, again, you can see that there's a northing and easting and elevation for latitudes and longitudes. And this time, we could call it power. And so now that point, so we're going to hit create.
Jeremy, you've got another question here. How are the images collected?
So the images were collected with the Leica GS18. Let me grab it real quick. Apologies, I should have had this on my desk already. But Leica GS18, it has a camera right here. And so you can get a string of pictures about 30 seconds worth of walking, and then you can either collect it in the field, or you can collect it, or you can post-process it later in the office. Does that answer your question there, Doug? I know we are running out of time here, and I know there is a lot of information, and we're definitely going to be having to do a part 2 and probably a part 3 on working with Leica Infinity. I know I probably gave a lot of information. Does anybody else, just stopping here with the point processing, I am going to go back to, notice up here, I'm going to go back to the view real quick. And we're going to go to our inspector here. You can see now where before 2062, 2063, and 2064, we did not have. It's now showing those in. I could select these 3 right here. And I could go to home, and I could export those if I wish to do so and upload them back into the data collector.
All right, I have a couple of questions here. How do I import all my LGO projects into Infinity? That's the first one.
If you actually would like, send me an email. I'm going to have Jennifer put my email address in there, and I will get you some tools on how to get your LGO projects into Infinity. It is actually a fairly simple process, but for the sake of time, I would rather handle that with you off this lunch and learn, if that is okay.
Right. The second question was post-process images is collecting the coordinates in the office. AFAIK, so AFAIK, you need real-time positioning for the camera to even collect it in the field. That's from Shelby.
Correct. With the GS18, the beauty of the GS18i is it is actually utilizing real-time position. So you are still, it is topoing, if you will. You are utilizing real-time positions to go along, and those images are geo-referenced to a northing and an easting. And you can actually, with the processing on the data collector, you can select the image in the field. That can be, if you got any further questions, I can definitely walk you through on that process. That was one of the greatest tools that actually came out for the field crew. All right, anybody else? I'm going to stop my share here. Looks like we have got. All right, and Jennifer just dropped in our contact information for everything below. All right, just want to thank everybody again for coming. I know this was a lot of information on the beginning of Infinity. I'd love to see you guys back for a second part and a third part. And if there are any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. We have just dropped also. We have dropped our next Lunch and Learns in the chat. On the 30th is going to be Kyler Gold with the Leica Distos. And then on the 6th of September, what's going to be live at ComUAV. That is the largest drone show here in Las Vegas. So we're super excited to see that. On the 13th of September is going to be Kyler Gould again with Leica Prisms. Then yours truly on September 20th will be exporting survey data from Infinity. So I will definitely touch on bringing in exporting data into AutoCAD as well as microsurvey CAD as well. Anyways, thank you all and have a great day, and we'll be seeing you soon.